So here's my main shutoff valve. Check this out. So this is this is a heavy-duty brass shutoff valve. Okay, it's quite heavy-duty, and it is 1 inch, or is it ½ inch? Anyway, if I would have got the PPR brand, which is plastic, the opening is like half of the diameter of the hole. So I didn't like that reduced flow. And so I tried a couple other valves, and I finally end up finding this one. I don't know if there's a price on there. I can't see right now. But anyhow, got that connected. I put a, what do you call that? Union here, PPR union. And I'll let the guys do the rest, hooking up the filter and the water storage. So right now I think my water storage tank is going to be there. Filter and the salt tank is going to be there. Electricity somewhere there. And I have quite a bit of room left for storage, which is a good thing. This is I put the compressor right now. Next, you guys won't believe this, but it's taken months to do the septic, and we ran into so many problems. Do I recommend the septic tank? Yes and no. Yes, because, well, it would never leak at the bottom. It would never crack like the homemade stuff made out of cement. No matter what, it's going to leak. And if it leaks, I just think I'm too close to the fish pond. I don't want to eat the fish that's contaminated with my crap. So I want to make sure that everything is cooked quite well before the water leaches into the ground. So what happened is, when we empty these tanks, okay, and it was just sitting in dirt, you know, just for fitting in and so forth. Well, when we emptied it and the water was coming in before we put all the cement, and what happened is the tank was rising up because of water, mud and everything going up, and it just caused us to redo the whole entire work again. So we end up having to cement it in, creating a channel for it. It can leak into, if this area here leak, it'll leak into the ground, and I'll just cover this whole entire area with gravel, especially in there. But there's no cement below that pipe. Anyhow, I'll cover this whole entire area with maybe about 2 inches of gravel, just for looks. I know there's going to be a dome shape here, but I'll figure out on how to make it nice, paint it white or whatnot. Maybe make a whole, put some 2x4s going across here and make a deck out of it. Hopefully there's no smell, but I'll make it look good somehow between gravel, some wood, and plants and flowers and so forth. So back over to here. Now this last tank has a lot of gravel in there, and what I did is I want to be able to have the water absorb into the ground through the gravel that I put in there. The gravel just create more surface area for the bacteria to work. But what happened is that during the rain, that thing filled up quite a bit of water, okay, because we left it open, and it took a while for it to drain out. To absorb into the ground. So what I'm doing is, just in case, I'll go ahead and pipe this out, run it underground, and have my drain field out here. So I'm going to take some these pipes, cover it with drill some holes in it, probably cover it with some cloth mesh around it, and create a drain field out there and out to there. So I'm pretty sure that after 3 tanks is pretty well cooked, okay, and it should work. Believe me, people live here with much less. Here, this is going to be for my gray water system. So whatever enters in here is going to cook a little bit if it needs to. It's going to go over to here, and I'll put a submersible pump in here. Put a hole through the lid and pipe it out, probably over there. Put a valve on it. I'll do a couple of different things. Put a valve on the pump so I can water the plants and so forth. But at the same time, I know that there'll be time that it's going to be overflowing. So what I do is I'll put a pipe here and have it drain straight down to here. Shouldn't be a problem. The ground's going to absorb quite a bit of it, but if it doesn't, well, I'll have a couple of pipes going out here, because the submersible pump, it's going to work off of a float valve, so it's going to be shooting water somewhere for something good. So that's it. Can't think of right now anything more right now. Like I said, I did all my electricity by myself. The outdoor cover with weather cover. Still have to fill this up with some gravel. Anything that's high, I'll melt a channel through the styrofoam, put the styrofoam against it, plaster it with cement. It's gonna look like, you know, one of these structures. So it's gonna look pretty cool when I'm done. If and when I'm done, it'll be a while. Money's tight right now, so we're doing the best we can for what we have, and what we have is still pretty darn good, especially when, you know, I have the standards that I told you guys about. I tried to bend my stand a little bit and I got stung. So far pretty good. I'll tell you guys more about the doors that we ordered tomorrow, or my next video. It is installed. We're just gonna go do some backwashing right now, just to clear out all the charcoal black stuff. So since it's a new install, they have to go through several processes of purging out the tanks. I'm gonna have to step this up a little bit, make it a longer pipe, because the pressure coming out of there is quite strong. So that's why the floor is so wet. But good thing I have a drainage over here, so check this out. So the person who sold me this is also the person that supplied me that. So this one, if you go to like Best Tank or wherever, it's going to cost like 25,000 pesos for 1,000 liter. So this whole system here, including this tank, is 71,000 pesos. Yes, it's expensive, but it's cheaper than the States. Now this is interesting here. This pump here, these are on-demand pump. So if the water is zero, there's a sensor that will stop pumping. At the same time, whenever you were using water, turn on the faucet, this will work as well. Welcome back everyone to my channel, Kumi's World in the Philippines. So I know it's been a while for an update, and you've seen the water tank and filtration system install, but this is a continuation of that video. So some frustrating things happening all the time. Welcome to the Philippines. So anyhow, got this water tank and the filtration system, and lo and behold, you know, start developing some leaks. So one of the leaks I have is a pinhole leak down here somewhere, where you know, the manufacturers probably won't warranty it, so they say, but then I complained to the distributor, I told him that I recommended him to a group that I have, that I don't want to go back on my word and not recommend my supplier anymore, or the guy who sold me this water softener and storage system. So anyhow, we're kind of working that out right now. Normally when you sell a product, or at least you're a representative of it, if something breaks, you go out there and you eat the cost. You eat the transportation cost, you eat everything. Then you deal with the manufacturer later. Well, in case here, if the guy wants to come back out and take this tank out and put another one in, well, he wants gas money. To me, that's pretty much a BS. When I was doing business, those are the costs that you just have to suck up. That's part of the cost of doing business. That's why you charge a certain amount to cover for all that. So anyhow, had a small leak. The water softener itself, I haven't really got a chance to use it other than using a garden hose to wash myself off. But I'm quite happy with this system. I think I told you guys before, this whole entire system cost 71,000 pesos. This is a 1,000 liter container. Well, if it's in great condition. Anyway, I got it for 17,500 by 20 to 25,000 pesos, but has a leak. But you know what? The bottom line is, I don't think it's a manufacturer of the tank's problem, because the seam is not on the bottom, the seam's on top, and the pinhole size is so small, and I think it's just a small defect in the 304 stainless steel there. So it is what it is. It's impossible for me to go inside and patch it. I can TIG weld it, or have it TIG weld, but right now I'm trying to take care of it through the distributor. So anyhow, it just continues going on and on. When they install it, there's a float valve, sort of like a toilet bulb up there. Well, that thing came off because they didn't screw it on completely. So again, already dripping, but it flooded the whole area probably all night last night. So made pretty significant progress to the tiles, and let me walk inside the house and show you guys. So the tiles inside the house is basically done. Sorry about all the mess, but still working in progress. Here are the stairs that I talked about earlier. Check that, isn't that pretty? That is so pretty. So the side is the same tile as the floor, and the top here is just more of a textured type of long tiles for the stairway, so that way we don't slip. I didn't want that to be here because it's nonsense to put it to be there, but this look is just extravagant. I really love that. Anyhow, I spoke earlier about using the extra tiles, which we have plenty of, as baseboard. Now in the Philippines, let me reiterate this. This is 2.5 inches. It was cut and basically glued in there with the same tile adhesive. So up here, instead of spending a bunch of money on silicone, I'm just having the guys fill it in with pure cement, smooth it out, and I'll decide how to taper it, caulk it, or whatever to blend it in with the wall. With the caulking, of course, it's going to be the paintable type, but I think that looks pretty sweet. Now in the Philippines, there's baseboard that you can buy. It's made out of plastic. It's about 2.5 inches as well, and then you end up gluing it with some kind of liquid nail that they have here. But with plastic, you're gonna bump into it, it's gonna get gnarled up, scrape, whatever else. Maybe my dog's gonna tear the crap out of the wall, and it's gonna cost me about 300 pesos, which is $6, $7, $8 for 10-foot strip. And I said, no, and I don't need it, and I have all this excess tile, so why not make use of it? So I asked the guy, my tiler, he never seen it before. The other construction crew have never seen it done before. So I would say I'm one of the first guys that thought of this. and I think it makes perfect sense. Anyhow, if you haven't noticed already, yeah, these are the ones that I got from Home Depot last year. It cost me like $2.60 or $2.80 each. It's grounded. Yes, the new way of putting upside down. Found that out last year at my mom's place. That I guess this is the new way of doing it. Anyhow, it's grounded. It looks nice, and it's cheaper than what I can buy locally. How about that? If you see some wood standing up here, I got a couple things going on. This is not the header. The header is over there. There was a split in it, so I'm gluing it right now. Anyhow, that's going to be the header. This is going to be below the header, and that's our door. So I can't remember how high this door is, but it's probably about, I don't know, maybe a little bit less than 4 feet high or 4 feet high. I mean wide. I don't know how high it is, but original thought is that we were going to hang it using regular hinges. But after doing some research, I pretty much determined that wasn't a great idea, and what we should use is something called a pivot hinge. Where is that? Where are you? Oh, here it is. See that? So basically, the pivot hinge is going to be located there, one on top and one on bottom. So it's going to take the brunt of the weight instead of the doors always constantly being pulled on the hinges. So I can't install that until I get the door frame installed. After that, then I have to put the pivot hinge there, probably put some rebar around it, then pour it inside cement. I just don't want any chance of slipping or anything in the future. That's why I'm putting some rebar in there. Just basically drilling rebar into the cement slab there. Let it sit maybe a couple inches high, and then set that one in. Anyhow, that's in the works. Trying to find somebody to install it for the right price or even have experience in it is basically impossible. So thanks to some YouTube videos and more YouTube videos, I'm going to attempt to do it myself. Yeah, that's gonna be interesting, but I think I can do it. A little bit of help. So, oh, look at this. We got all the doors in. Now, check this out. So we told them, we went around and we measured every single door opening, right? So every door opening, and then we brought it to measurement to the door supplier located in Nueva Ecija, which is like an hour away. So we gave them the measurement, they took it down, and basically that whatever measurement they gave us, they kind of threw it out the window and made the door their way. So what it is that this is what's normal, I guess you could say standard, is that from here, our way, from here to here is actually 90 centimeters. But standard wise, 90 centimeters should be is actually the door. So we told them the opening is a 90 centimeter. So what they did is they created what they thought was standard, 90-inch door plus the door jamb. So I believe it's 2 inches on each side, so plus 4 inches. So we got all here, I signed for it, I put it up against the wall, and it's just 4 inches too big. So called up and complained, hashed it out. I called the manager, I basically bitched to them, saying, hey, we gave you all these measurements, you make it to our measurement, not to what your standard is. And it turns out that, you know, the way that we built this is really different from, you know, how they do it or common people here do it. So what it is that, you know, normally when you order this door frame, you'll fit it in there, the wall's not finished yet, you know, the cement is not finished yet, you'll throw it in there, they'll put cement and so forth around it, and it locks it in. Well, in our case, we finish the door frame, we finished the opening, then we give them the measurement and say, okay, let's do this. So they they basically admit to their mistake. They came out, picked it up, and they went and measured every one of them all over again, and then they marked like number 1 opening to, and they marked it number 1 on the door frame, and they went ahead and put the door inside the frame before they all had it separate, so it makes it a lot easier. And I'll give you an example of what's going on. Beginning to feel like a home. I'll explain this one in a minute. So this is a walk-in closet. As you can see that they braced it to keep it 90 degree. But believe me, this measurement here and here, here and here is different. So am I bitching about that? Well, slightly. But here's what I'm bitching about right now. Is that, you know, am I really bitching about it? So the thing is, I want to fit in here, and I wanted to make it completely even from here to here, here to here. But the thing is, just in case I have some gaps, I want to be able to put some shims in there, and basically put a screw in the middle, and that this side and you know, up and down be exactly even. But the problem is, it's not like you can go to the store here and buy shims at Home Depot, the US, or Lowe's and all that. You can. Over here, it's just not available. You go to any hardware store locally and you're not going to get it. So it is a tight fitting, so I guess I'm really not complaining too much. I'll figure out, you know, the little minute details here and there. But because they took the measurement and they made it, pretty tight, I don't think I will worry as much as if they weren't that accurate. So am I satisfied? Yes. Oh, here is our master bedroom bath. Beautifully done. Okay, so I know you've seen some this over here. So we did they call it pairing, furring, barring, different variation of names depending on who you speak to over here. So this is so that we can hang the PVC planks. So looks like it's going to go this way. Basically, drill a hole, rivet it in, go to the next one, drill a hole, rivet it in, and continue. One of the design mistake that I did is that, well, I wanted a lot of lighting. And initially, I wanted a light in the middle with a fan. Oh, I'll talk about this fan in a second. With a fan. But the thing is, I really want a lot of lighting. When, you know, optional to have a lot of lighting. So basically I want not only that with the fan, the light built in with the fan, but maybe 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3, then another 1 or 2 here, another 1 or 2 over there. But the thing is, I have one switch. So right now what I'm thinking, and what I'm planning to do, not just thinking, is that the light switch obviously is going to be on all the time. Okay? So the fan, there's many fans out there that is worked off of just a separate controller, remote control. So the controller will basically turn on the fan, and one would turn on the light that's built into the fan. But how, that means with one single switch, I'm going to have all these lights that I'm doing. Let me take a tangent here. I'm getting surface mounted pin lights, not a recessed lighting. Just because, you know, there's just not enough room up there, and I don't want to drop the ceiling any more than it is. Mainly because, you know, I have openings for the AC piping and so forth. Anyway, back to what I was saying. So what I'm going to do is that I want to, you know, I always have the intention of doing this, but I want to make this somewhat of a smart house. So with a smart house, I'm going to make smart lights. So basically, the electricity is coming out there already, as you can see. So basically, I'm going to tie it into electricity there, but I'm going to run it over to there, and I'm going to add another socket. On that socket, okay, I'm going to add a smart switch. Basically, that smart switch is going to connect to all these lights around here, and that way I can tell Alexa or Google to turn off the bedroom light, and it will do that. Now, I'm going to create an access panel as well on every room, because that smart switch will go bad in time, and if I had to take these ceiling tiles out, I had to take all of it out to get access to anything up here. So that wouldn't be wise for me to put it in someplace over here. So I had to create a little access panel over here to do that. And I want to make sure that all the wires are basically really, really good and stable. So that's my thought. Shoot, with all those lights, I would have to have, 3 or 4 more switches if I want to turn off, a few of them, instead of all of them. So I'm going to do that to most of the rooms except for the laundry room and so forth. There are some areas that I didn't have the baseboard tiles in yet, just because the door is going to be in there, and the kitchen area where the kitchen counter is going to be in there. See the fairing? Of course, I insisted on them using a laser. So it's kind of funny because my construction guys, he used a laser at first to point the line around, then he drew the line to put the fairings up, but then he wanted to use a straight bar to figure out the level of this, where to tie it to the metal here. Then I said, use the darn laser, set it up on a stand, and then you can see the laser will mark exactly where the level is. You can't just depending on the bubble level on that. So I thought that was kind of funny, just making the job much harder. But can't blame him because he's not used to it. But forcing him to think outside of the box was pretty fun. I make fun of him, but I really appreciate him. This is the part of the door jambs for the front. These doors here, I want to say that when they come to you, it is very, very partially finished. So they did cover some of the holes, as you can, let me see, I don't know if you can see it. So they did cover some imperfection. They did do an okay job of sanding it. Did they do a great job? No, there's a little bit more imperfection, as you can see here, where I got to take care of. So I got to do a lot of finishing to do. Now, if you wanted them to finish it, well, let me go back. This door, I believe, was 7,000 some pesos, and it is solid mahogany. It's beautiful. It's not that hard, but it's a beautiful wood once it's finished. So anyhow, 7,000, right? And then if you want them to finish it, let's say a smooth color and red, and it looks like similar to glass, but of course it's not going to be perfect. They want another 80 bucks for it, which is 4,000 pesos. Well, I know that I probably won't get my money's worth out of it, or they'll do some kind of work that I won't like. I'm not a perfectionist, but I try to be close. I just know that they won't cover some areas up that, that I'm able to see. So I think that if I make a mistake, I can live with it. If they make a mistake, then I'll bitch more about it. So anyhow, I'm gonna finish the door myself. I'm going to smooth out with the grain. Smooth out the grain with some of this stuff that I bought. And believe it or not, I was able to find it here. Some timber meat. So I'll stir up a slurry of it, cover the wood, wait an hour or two later, and sand it down again. This is the smaller of the two doors that's going to be up here. Oh, you just gotta check this one out. Let me see. Let's go back outside. So there was gaps in the door, in the windows, when we first got it. Now, when we got it, they were going to When we got these windows, they were going to silicone it in and so forth, and I knew they weren't going to do a great job on it. Plus it's going to be clear silicone, it's going to be non-paintable silicone, so I said no, leave it alone. So what I did is, I knew there were some gaps up there because, you know, no matter how much measurement they took or you give to them, they're going to be off. So what we did is, I had some, to fill the gaps, I did two things. I had an option to get a gap filler. I bought tons and tons of tubes of it and fill it in, or I can use, you know, see that? I can use these strips, fold it in half or sideways, and jam it into the cracks. Then I'll leave like 1/4 inch and squirt some paintable acrylic, non-mildew, non-mold, whatever, caulking into it. So I'd like for you to take a look at that. I insisted on a guy doing a good job, and if you look at that, I would say that's a pretty darn good job. Very proud of that. Left all this on until I'm ready to move in. Anyway, so it's completely around. I am so delighted. Then when it's time to paint, I'll just paint right up to the edge. Love it. What else is going on here? I can't think of anything right now. There's my baby. Mia! Come here! Hi, baby! Come here! This... You see she's wet? That's because she learned how to swim. We took her out to a place called Casigran in Aurora, and I pulled her into a river, taught her how to swim for like 2 seconds. She picked it up right away. Now, every time you turn around, you look and she's swimming across the pond. It's just crazy. I love it. But then I have to give her a bath afterwards. Oh, what else? Well, that's about it for right now. I'll talk to you more about the septic tank that I had issues with. There was a bit of a flaw in the tank lifting up, but we had to fix that. But I'll explain that one later. Just too frustrating to explain right now. Okay, folks, if you haven't subscribed already, please like, share, and click on the subscribe button, as well as the bell, so that you can get notification next time I post something new. So take care. Thanks for tuning in.